here we are looking at very nearby sources. And the second branch of the Galileo project is to look at objects that enter the solar system from outside, that are farther out, not just next to Earth, but within the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. The first such object was discovered in 2017, and it looked very weird. Didn't look like a comet or an asteroid, and it was given the name Oumaumua, which means in the Hawaiian language, a scout, because it was discovered by a telescope in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. And could you explain to me the significance of the shape of that item?
Yeah, so this object, at first, astronomers thought it must be a rock that came from another star. Just like we have rocks in the solar system, these are the building blocks of the planets. And you have some leftover Lego pieces from the construction project of the planets in the solar system. Most of them are in the outskirts of the solar system, the so-called Oort cloud. And, when a star passes by, it can dislodge some of them into interstellar space. And you can imagine the same thing elsewhere, around other stars. And so we expect some rocks to come to us from other stars. But mostly those should be comets, meaning that it's rocks covered with ice. So when it gets close to the sun, the ice evaporates and you end up with a cometary tail of dust and water vapor. That's what we see in comets that belong to the solar system. And this object didn't look like a comet. There was no evaporation around it, no dust or water vapor or anything. So it was definitely not a comet of a type that we have seen before. So then people said, okay, maybe it's just a rock, bare rock. But then as the object was tumbling every 8 hours, the amount of sunlight reflected from it changed by a factor of 10. And that meant that it has a very extreme shape, most likely pancake-like, like a piece of paper tumbling in the wind. And then the object exhibited an excess push away from the sun. And that, I thought, can only be explained if it's as a result of the reflection of sunlight from it, because there was no evaporation of the object that would give it the rocket effect. And so in 2020, just a year ago, September 2020, there was another object that exhibited an excess push away from the sun by reflecting sunlight, no cometary tail. It was given the name 2020 SO. And then the astronomers that discovered it with the same telescope in Hawaii realized that it actually came from Earth. It's a rocket booster that was launched in 1966.